So this is just a quick follow-up video to show where those embodied carbon values reside. So for any given component or composite in an ArchiCad model, we can see that the composite is made up of these different materials. Like here we have rock wool comfort board, 3-inch, we've got zip sheathing, we've got gypsum board in that. So this is the composite menu. And then in the building materials database itself, we've sorted everything by CSI index. So you can see concrete, your masonry units here, steel in category 5, carpentry items in 6, thermal and moisture protection and membranes all in the 7 category. And what we do, let's say if we have dimple board drainage sheet, like a delta board, we don't just have the material, of course we do, and there's the definition of the material, and it all translates down to kilograms of CO2 per kilogram, but it's such a thin product that when we make a composite, it's really important that we account for the thickness in 2 different things. So if we have a galvalume in a rain screen, as one example, there's a wood rain screen, there's GV there. We have galvalume cladding, which is 0.6 millimeters. So that's like a 24 gauge material for the thickness. But then we have something we call metal cladding void space. And that's 19.1 millimeters of air, which makes up for our 7/8 thickness of like the sine wave galvalume. So that we're not counting the thickness, but we're counting the sheet material in thickness. And if we stretch out the curvy sheet of galvalume, we probably get about double that. So I think I took a 0.3 value and then just doubled it to 0.6 to say, well, that should capture the surface of that material and the EPD data for thickness in terms of volume density, and that's how we calculate. So we've got these placeholders for the geometric thickness of the product, but then we've got the actual thickness of the product, by representing this void, which has no value for CO2, and then we've got the CO2 carried in the material thickness value itself. So going outside of ArchiCAD, if I were to say modify the value for that material, I can go into here and I can search GV is usually what I call it for galvalume. Galvalume cladding, there it is. Sometimes we add more data in that just as a note, like to 12 inches below finished grade, yada, yada. But here I can see there's the material, there's the EPD value, there's the LCA data from Design LCA, and here's the one that we're carrying as kilograms of CO2 per kilogram of material. So if I took a 1 kilogram block of that galvalume, it's 9 kilograms of carbon. So it's like a 9-to-1 ratio. So where does this data come from? Well, if I click on this open catalog, it pops open this catalog and it says, well, it's getting it from the metals section. And we can go to like, well, I don't see a clear galvalume value here, but what I've done is I've picked the top value of aluminum because that's probably close. Maybe it's not close, but if I wanted to, I could go in and edit this XML file and add a line called galvalume and put in the value from an EPD, and it would be there under this embodied carbon. So this one cell called embodied carbon represents the A1 through 3 scope. But where do you find that file? I'll show you. You go into, like, I'm on a Mac here, so we go into applications and then Graphisoft, Graphisoft. And then under that folder, if I look at ArchiCAD International Library 26, let's not go to that one. I'm going to go to ArchiCAD Silicon. That's the one I'm running on this MacBook. And then I'm going to go into add-ons. Yeah. Now watch, I can't find it because I'm making a video. Add-ons, there it is. And then energy evaluation, that's where all the building material data lives as a pre-populated kind of thing. And then we go to region, USA, because the ArchiCAD gets localized. And then we open this material catalog.xml file. Now if I go open with and just pick a text editor, I can see kind of what this thing looks like. And it's an XML file. And for any named material, I can see that it's got these embodied carbon values. So I'm going to look for find aluminum. And there's my aluminum material, and that's where this 9.16 value comes from. So I could find out what galvalume is, and I could literally copy this line, right? Take material, copy, put in another one, paste, and call it galvalume. Galvalume. And it could be specific about the gauge of it, but there, I'm just going to take that. I'm going to change the value here to like, I don't know, it's probably less, 8. But let's say I get that from real value, 8 kilograms of carbon CO2 per kilogram of material. I save this file, close it, and when I restart ArchiCAD and I popped open that material catalog, I would then see that galvalume here. I'm going to have to actually hit save and do a hard restart of the program, but then it will load that XML file and I will see my new material there. That's how it works.